what's going on? It's fucking Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday.
It's fucking Tuesday.
I wish we had a day called fucking Tuesday. Today we always get together and start fucking. On Tuesday.
Well, I mean...
Cameras everywhere. People calling in. They're fucking... Pop up on a show. Fucking... YouTube, lame as it is, they'd fucking ban our asses quick. No, you cannot have fucking Tuesday. We're gonna have to shut this shit down.
Well, we have a haunting Mondays, and then we'll have fucking Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I'm not using it in the literal sense. I'm using it in the kind of like, I slept really crappily last night, so I'm like I'm really tired.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so finally, after you guys bugged me, I mean, one person in particular, I think it was Danny Rolling, like one person in particular, but it was more than one person that had been bugging us to do United the Comet. So we finally fucking did it. We finally did it. And I'm sorry we didn't do it before Christmas. Technically it's kind of considered like a Christmas movie, even though it's not really. I mean, it takes place around Christmas time, but
it's like Die Hard.
Yeah, it's not like a huge part of the plot though. And to me, I mean, I kind of feel like even though, according to the Wikipedia page, it says that it was technically supposed to be taking place a few days before Christmas, the way that they have, like, you know, the comet coming and everybody going out to see it and stuff like that remind me more of New Year's. So I was like, well, so it's kind of like a New Year's movie too. So we're kind of like in the same ballpark. You know what I mean? We got away with it. Hey, Dave, what's up? He says, hello, fuck Tuesday, honestly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Tuesday is just...
It's a day without character.
It's such a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tom Sykes says, the cover says Night of the Living Dead meets Valley Girl. Actually, watching this again made me want to rewatch Valley, because I fucking love Valley Girl. And I don't think you've ever seen it with, like, very, very young Nicolas Cage.
If y'all haven't seen this,
It's the same production company, though, as Valley Girl. This is. Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen this, I recommend a movie. I saw bits of it when it came out, but I don't remember anything else. I just remember a few minutes of it. I probably wouldn't have liked it in the day that it came out. I wouldn't have appreciated it the same way. It's a good movie. It's a post-apocalyptic action adventure chick flick. Basically. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Cherry 2000 and A Boy and His Dog. All right, it's another good movie. Which is interesting because we watched it on Tubi, and the next movie that came on after it, because you know how they have that was Cherry 2000. Yeah, and I was saying this reminds me of Cherry 2000. And all those movies kind of almost could be kind of like in the Fallout video game universe almost. But this would be like right at the beginning. And it's just two sisters who are super 80s, but they're kind of like ideal 1980s, which we get at in a second. And they're fucking in all these cool 80s environments in a fucking post-apocalyptic setting, and there's kind of like humans that most humans just died. Some of them kind of turned into zombies. You had a government agency that kind of survived it. They were the medical dudes that survived it in an underground bunker. It wasn't really a bunker, it was a fucking cave. They were living in a cave that had been converted into like a shelter. It didn't have a roof on it on anything, but it was inside. Didn't need it. It was inside a cave. And they were going out trying to find a cure for this shit that had happened. It had something to do with this comet that went by, and it disintegrated everybody and poisoned a bunch of rest of them. So they're fighting kind of like, they fight zombies and half zombies. They're not really zombies. They're mutants. Kind of like something out of Omega Man. Yeah, because they still, and a lot of people even when this came out back in 1984, like a lot of the critics said, it does have kind of the same vibe as like Omega Man or something like that, where it's like it's more comedic, right? I guess, but it has like a similar kind of like vibe to it. Yeah, and like the girls kind of fall in with this dude who's kind of like the leading man, kind of hunk, you know. He's the dude that played Commander what was his name? Commander Chakotay from fucking Star Trek Voyager, which is I like Voyager with Captain Janeway and shit. That was a good series. And he's in it, and he's young. He was a handsome dude, man.
Robert Beltran.
Beltran,
I think.
He's a truck driver. He's kind of like Hispanic guy who could dress up as a cowboy, and You know, he's just kind of an everyman in a certain way, kind of a working man type. But of course, he falls in with some hotties, and they fight over him. And then there's some zombies that just a bunch of shit happens in him. It's a good flick, and it's got a great aesthetic. Okay, the score and the soundtrack are 80s as fuck, but they're like a good 80s.
This is one of the 80s-est 80s movies that has ever been made.
I told Jenny, I said, I forgot to, what did I say? I said,
what are you talking about specifically? You said a lot of things.
I said some shit that was like that. I said, I forgot that the 80s was this 80s.
Yeah.
I think it's what I said. And I forgot that. And she started laughing. I forgot the 80s was this 80s. The thing is, though, is that we started laughing. This is the way we wished the 80s always looked. Because in the actual 80s, most of that shit, your mom bought that shit and it was 70s as fuck.
Yeah, it was like we still had like shag carpet.
Yeah, there was a lot of fucking tacky shit that your grandma had. And most of the world was like that.
Fake wood paneling.
Yeah.
Our house looked more like the house that Winona Ryder's character had in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of looked more like that.
Right.
That's what our house looked like. It wasn't like cool with like neon and like Patrick Nagel prints on the walls and glass everything and all that.
They spent a lot of the movie at the damn radio station that they commandeer the radio station. And it's fucking 80s as fuck. It's like...
I love that shit.
Yeah, it's black with fucking colored neon accents. It's all over. And fucking geometrical fucking furniture and red accents. And it would have some Nagel shit on the wall and fucking...
Even the bathroom was amazing.
Yeah,
like it had
sinks.
Like it had like a pink or a purple sink and like the checkerboard...
Yeah.
Like a black and gray checkerboard floor, and I was like, oh my God, I want that bathroom right now.
That shit was 80s as fuck, but you have to understand that was idealized 80s.
Yeah.
The only dudes that had a pad like that would be like fucking 80s yuppies working for some baking firm, and he's like fucking 30, and his fucking pad looks like that, and it's filled with fucking coke whores in their 20s. That is only a real
Pretty
cool
much,
motherfucker or a rock... Or like fucking Rick James would have a fucking apartment like that. That's who would have an apartment like that. You know, although I think later on he was broke dick as fuck. But you know, when Rick James had money, that's the kind of pad he'd try to live in. And you didn't see that when you were actually in the 80s. You just saw that shit on TV. You know, but if you're a regular person, you really didn't see that much. And a lot of the places of business were fucking 10 years out of date when you went in there. So it's just kind of funny. It looks like if you go on a YouTube channel called New Retro Wave, every one of their videos looks and sounds like this movie.
Well, this is what they're trying to replicate.
This is what they're talking about.
But this is, you know, this movie is like the real thing because this came out in 1984. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is the look and the sound that they're trying to approximate.
It's a monument to the 80s fucking style. The story's good.
Yeah, this is actually one of the better like post-apocalyptic films for this because it's like a different. I like that there's zombies in it, but it's not like zombie focused.
No,
it's like they're just kind of like there's a zombie every now and then. It's like a threat, but most of the people are dead.
Yeah,
so
and they're not zombies. They can talk.
Yeah, they're not
mutants.
Yeah, they're more like mutants then.
They're
like you said, like
crazy and shit.
Right, and they're now. I think like the one zombie guy at the beginning, like didn't he eat the other guy from Larry from the?
Yeah, he ate the motorcycle guy
from the movie theater.
Yeah.
So they are like flesh eating. Yeah. So there's that, but yeah, they're not like shambling like Walking Dead kind of zombies and stuff like that. But like I said, I like it because you know there's threats from the zombies, but I kind of feel like. I like that they kind of kept that to a minimum, and like some of the threat ends up being like the scientists who are trying to round up the remaining survivors, of which there are not that many apparently, to kind of like make a serum out of their blood. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's almost like that's more the bad guys than the zombies are. The zombies are just kind of like every now and then you come across one and they like you gotta fucking kick its ass or whatever.
The two main characters are two young sisters that are supposed to be high school students. Aren't they high school students?
Yeah.
Or they getting ready to graduate, I think.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be like 17 or 18.
17 or 18. And they're just 80s as fuck, man. Fucking 80s hair, 80s fucking schoolgirl dresses or cheerleader outfits and shit. It's just and their dad was special forces, so they ended up having MAC-10s, and they shoot up
Yeah,
a car
so they
with
know how to
MAC-10s.
like shoot guns and like survive and kick people's butts and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
They're
Yeah, I mean they're practical. Like
They're
kinda.
practicing and shit, shooting with MAC-10s. And fucking, you know, and they complain that their dad should have got us Uzis, that kind of stuff.
I like how chill they are about this.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is that the guy that wrote and directed this, whose name is Thom Eberhardt, and I thought that name sounded familiar. The reason why that name sounds familiar is because remember that movie that we reviewed not too long ago that a lot of people haven't seen called Soul Survivor, about that woman that survived the plane crash and then all kind of weird shit happened?
Yeah.
He's the same guy that directed that.
Okay.
He also directed Captain Ron with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell was in Captain Ron, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. So that's the same guy that did that. And he said, like, what he wanted with this particular movie, he really, really liked post-apocalyptic stories. And he really, really liked the idea of, like, two very, very strong, like, female characters, you know, being in this post-apocalyptic situation. What's up, Pokey? She's like, put me down, damn it. Oh, she looked, and you could see her little face for a minute. Okay. She's a... What's up, little Mad?
She's just putting up with
She's
it.
making a little mad.
She's
face.
like, I want to
She's
jump
like,
down. I want to jump down.
She's
You wanna
like,
jump
yeah.
down already?
Yeah, she's like, yes, I would like to jump down, please. Yeah.
She heard that phone buzzing. She's wondering what that was.
It's
You can
okay.
get down.
She's like, I got shit to do.
Yeah. But she won't leave. She'll just circle around me.
Yeah, she just circled.
She was
around.
circling around me.
Like a little shark.
Yeah.
A little gray fuzzy shark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he wanted to do that. And he, I guess, had been directing, like, you know, teenage, like, specials about teenagers and stuff, like, for PBS. And so he decided that he was going to ask, like, all these teenage girls that he had been, like, filming for this documentary, like, what would you do if, you know, the world ended? He didn't say he was working on a movie about it. He was just curious to see what their input was. And he said the thing that inspired him to write this movie was that most of the girls were like, that would be pretty awesome. Like, They just didn't really see it as a bad thing. They just kind of saw it like as a big adventure. They're like, yeah, it would kind of suck that there was no boys, but like other than that, it would be pretty rad. You could just like run around and do whatever you wanted, and like no, and see, that's kind of what I was thinking, because in like an apocalypse like the one that's posited in this movie, yeah, there's zombies every now and then. But most of the people are dead, like, because most of the people that went out to look at the comet got turned into red dust, right? So there's no, you know, provided that you could defend yourself against, like, the random zombie or whatever, who actually, they say that they're not going to live long, right? Because they got some kind of disease. Yeah. So they're eventually going to die. Probably won't take that long. So if you're immune, then you got the whole fucking world to yourself, man.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, like, worry about defending yourself against zombies. So it's not like The Walking Dead where there's just, like, hordes of flesh-eating ghouls, like, trying to come after you.
What's unique about the movie is that it's a post-apocalyptic action movie. I enjoyed it. It's very, like, guys would really like this movie, but it's a chick flick.
Yeah.
It's still a chick flick. But in a weird way, it's an action-adventure chick flick.
Yeah.
Which there are very few of those.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this movie so original. I think that's why it became kind of like a cult classic, was because, you know, there's been lots of post-apocalyptic movies, but it did something a little bit different with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the character of Sam, who's the cheerleader girl, she was the direct inspiration for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. And unless you were a guy growing up in the 80s, Jenny probably didn't pick up on a lot of the shit that they were doing with her and fucking just her outfits and fucking her character and the little poses and shit she's doing during the certain parts. They're homaging 80s porn. I mean, she's basically fucking Ginger Lynn is what they're talking about. Same hair, same kind of outfits and shit. But she's a Ginger Lynn knockoff. Which I guess there was a lot of girls like that. But
yeah, there were. And that actress, Kelli Maroney, she was actually in a fuck ton of like classic 80s movies. Yeah. She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah. She was in Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've reviewed Chopping Mall, have we? I don't think we have. And Catherine Mary Stewart, who plays Reggie, like the dark-haired girl, she was in, because I recognized her too. She was in The Last Starfighter. That's where I recognized her from. She was in Weekend at Bernie's too. which you know. So we already
you could see Buffy the Vampire Slayer in that character though. Just
well, that's where Joss Whedon got the idea, because he just liked the idea of like this kind of very feminine cheerleader type girl, but that was a badass.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of why I get to the Ginger Lynn thing.
Yeah.
Fucking, she did scenes like that, had that. She was fucking big in the 80s. She was like the top porn star. Fucking high school dudes I grew up knew who that was, you know, fucking, and some of the stuff that they had her doing on the couch and fucking dancing around and shit. And like, yeah, okay, they're homaging Ginger Lynn there. Those directors knew who that was. She was the top fucking porn chick from that era. So they took Ginger Lynn and I think probably made her and then this and that, and it evolved into fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Ginger Lynn was a badass. I mean, she fucking, she was a porn star.
You know what's interesting?
She'd do anything, you know, fucking, especially in those days.
You know what's interesting is that the role of Sam that Kelli Maroney ended up playing, that was originally going to go to Nancy Langenkamp, who ended up being in Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, the same year. I think she was I don't know what happened there, but she did audition for that role, and she was kind of like at the top of the list, but then Kelli Maroney ended up getting it instead. And so Heather Langenkamp was like, I guess this is the consolation prize. Oh, I guess I'll go be in Nightmare on Elm Street. And now she's like a massive fucking star because of that movie. But I don't know. It would have been weird with Heather. Like, I can't imagine Nightmare on Elm Street, like the first one, without Heather Langenkamp in it. I said Nancy. That's her character's name. Heather Langenkamp. Tom's
asking me if I had a Mac 10. Yeah, I had a Mac 10. A real Mac 10. Ingram Mac 10. The only thing that was weird about it was like one of the rarer ones from its time. It was an Ingram Mac 10, but it was in 9mm. A lot of the Ingram versions of the Mac were 45, but it was in 9. This one. It was fun shit, fun gun, not really practical. MP5 fucking beat the snot out of it. So would an Uzi. An Uzi easier to shoot.
I was gonna say too that Mary Warrenov is also in this movie, and she's in tons and tons of shit. She's actually she started out like collaborating with Andy Warhol. She was in a bunch of shit with him because she's I believe she's a painter as well. But she was in Death Race 2000. She was in Eating Raoul, which also had Robert Beltran from this movie in it. She was in Terror Vision. She was also in Shopping Mall. She was in Warlock, Devil's Rejects. There's all that kind of stuff. House of the Devil, I think she was in. And somebody mentioned it, I think Tom Sykes mentioned it earlier, but Jeffrey Lewis, who has kind of like a smallish role in this as one of the scientists, was the guy that turned into the vampire from Salem's Lot.
Okay. Tom's asked me if it jammed like it did in this movie. The answer is no. Max didn't jam. If you did get something like a jam, that'd be a magazine problem. You know, if you might have bent feed lips or something. And Mac didn't make those magazines. They were based on other fucking. It was based on other weapons. I think the 9mm might have been based on a fucking. I think that mag might have been based on an Uzi mag, or what was it? Might have been a Sten gun mag. I got to go back and fucking look, but no, they didn't jam. Guys, they're still using that. There's upgrade kits for that now. You can turn a Mac 10 into a fucking beast now. They're a lot better than they used to be. They just use the fucking lower receiver. It's got the serial numbers, the trigger parts. They're putting different uppers on them now. And fucking different bolts to slow down the firing rate. They perfected that over the time. But back in these days, it was just a crude American-made small submachine gun. It didn't do well in service, though. Didn't have a very good buttstock on it. It was just a wire buttstock, and you wanted something that was more solid.
Victor says, "Whoa, 13 o'clock on a Tuesday. We always live stream on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Almost always. Like we always do a movie review on Tuesdays." Richard Brown said his daughter is Juliette Lewis. Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Oh, Juliette Lewis, man.
That's the guy that was in Salem's Lot that was in this. That's her dad.
I didn't realize that guy. Okay.
Yeah, Jeffrey Lewis, his name is. Okay. See, I didn't realize that either. I don't think that I ever realized that.
Yeah.
That guy was in a lot of stuff. He was in High Plains Drifter, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. And he was also in The Devil's Rejects, like Mary Warrenov was as well.
That's right.
So, yeah, this is kind of like a who's who of, like, 80s character actors and, like, people that were in, like, other really iconic 80s movies.
It's a great 80s movie. It wasn't great in the time that it came out. it had kind of stiff competition, and we didn't see it for what it was. We didn't see it for the kind of time capsule it was, but it's aged very well. Matter of fact, the gestalt of this movie has fucking actually come back around in style. This could fucking, Gen Z would love this movie. Gen Z would love it.
Yeah, I mean, this has a massive cult following. And I'm going to say that when it came out, it actually like kicked ass, but and got like really good reviews, and it made a lot of money and stuff like that. And I think that that's even more admirable because it came out pretty much the same time, like maybe within a week as Nightmare on Elm Street, which was like a massive like cultural hit. You know what I mean? So the fact that this came out now, I will say that the reason that it made a lot of money too, one of the reasons, was that it only cost $700,000 to make.
I remember it coming out, and I saw parts of it, and we thought it was okay. I think I didn't remember the rest of the movie. I remembered parts of it when we were watching it last night, but most of it I didn't remember. So I don't know if I saw the whole thing. I don't think I would have liked it in the time that it came out. I was young and post-apocalyptic. I would have liked anything Mad Max a lot better. And I was big into the action and the horror movies, so we were probably already watching Reanimator and all that. I would have thought that this was kind of like light entertainment, and that it was fucking wishy-washy, like, oh, that's a chick movie. But when you get older, you know what I mean, you start appreciating things a lot more. Fucking teenage boys fucking have a very narrow fucking field of interest, so
yeah, if there's no titties, get the fuck out.
There was in this movie, I think, wasn't there?
Well, there wasn't bare titties. There was a bra shot.
Yeah.
But I don't think you got to see any.
No, we would have
titties.
liked it probably, for that aspect. You know what I mean?
Well, because I said like the one point where Kelli
nudity.
Maroney like goes to the bathroom and takes her shirt off.
Yeah.
And like you just see her bra. I don't think you see her naked boobies. I don't remember seeing any boobies. But yeah, when you see her bra, it was just kind of like, oh, there you go, teenage boys.
Right. As a teenage boy, I guarantee you we liked those girls. I don't remember anything about it, but we would have liked it. That was right up our alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like the thing that I like the best about this, like just the characters are just so likable.
Yeah.
And I just really I like how they don't make a big, huge deal. Like, obviously, they're just like, oh shit, like everybody's dead. Yeah. But they kind of like, I don't know if I'd say that they are kind of like optimistic about it, but they're just kind of like, oh, well, shit happens. You know what I mean? And they just kind of like, let's go to the mall and have a good time. And, they don't seem overtly upset about it, which I thought was kind of, no one's freaking out or nothing.
I'll tell you one thing that I liked about it. Nowadays, if you have a chick flick, there are guys in it, but most of the guys are kind of clownish. This one, as soon as that fucking truck driver showed up and he was in the darkness, he yelled out, I recognized that voice immediately. I was like, man, that's Chakotay from fucking Star Trek Voyager. Yeah. And he shows up, and he's a G in it. You know what I mean? He's brave. He does a bunch of shit. He fucking saves the girls a couple times. Fucking rescues them.
But he's not a jerk about it.
No,
like
cool.
Everybody's just kind of on equal footing, which I really, really liked.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they didn't turn him into. He wasn't clownish. He wasn't a clown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a viable hero. But so were the girls.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everyone was on equal footing. Like nobody was
they had different skill sets.
Right. But, like the girls weren't necessarily like damsels in distress or anything like that. Like they could take care of themselves, but kinda. But
it's just like anything else. No man is an island in a situation like that.
Exactly.
Everybody got to stick together.
Right. But, and I think that they did a good job of like putting that across. And he was a very likable character too. Like when he showed up.
You see, if it would not have made sense. And they would have tried to do this in a movie that they made today. It wouldn't have made sense if dude was a clown, okay, and didn't have any fucking physicality or physical strength or any skills to back up his shit. It wouldn't have made sense that they were fighting over him. You know what I mean? Because they were fighting over him. Because he was a good dude. So that makes a lot more sense, Like Jen said, they were all members of a team. It's not like they were... Not like they were totally dependent on him, but they were dependent on a group synergy to get through all this shit. And he was a good-looking guy, and they thought he was the last man on Earth, so they're kind of fighting over him.
Yeah.
The only other guys they ran into were like basically rapists, rapist zombies, and they're not really zombies, like
no,
a mutant.
No one likes
they're
that.
They're fucking nuts. Like they're in this. There's the one scene where they go to the shopping mall and they got all this free shit, and somebody's watching them on the cameras. And it's a group of like 6 dudes, all armed and shit, and they're fucking attacking the girls and fucking, shooting at them. And I'm going, wait a minute, what the fuck are they doing? This is the end of the world. They're shooting at the last of the cute girls. Then it turns out, they're not normal, And it made more sense after that. I was like, who wrote this shit? But then the dude took his glasses off, and they weren't human.
Yeah, they had started to mutate.
Yeah, they were mutating.
Because the premise of the movie is that if you weren't like made into dust by the comet, like from the outset, which most people were, like if you were, for example, like in some place where you only got partially exposed, then you would kind of like start to zombie out, and eventually you would die. Like it didn't seem to take that long, actually.
Yeah, you see, in a pandemic situation where fucking 90-something% of all the it wouldn't even take that much. Even if only 60% of the people died off, there'd be chaos for a while. But there'd be plenty of free shit sitting around. All right. But the thing is that there'd be more shit than there are people. So the stuff wouldn't be that valuable.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
They wouldn't be fighting over anything. What would be valuable is people of breeding age. That's young, pretty women that could have children, and young, virile men would be the most valuable thing, okay? Because they'd be the next generation, and they'd be worth a lot more than even food, because canned food survives indefinitely, and once the population's gone, there's gonna be a lot of canned food around.
Yeah, there's no need to fight over it. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, and the survivors would probably be able to just live off of can, especially if it's 90% mortality. There'd be enough stored food that the survivors would probably never have to fucking plant anything in their life. They'd be dead by the time they ran out of damn cans. Now you'd have to plan for the future and restart.
Yeah.
They would plant anyway. And
I probably would anyway, just so you wouldn't have to eat canned food all the time.
Yeah, and you have to pass the knowledge off to future generations, because they won't be able to survive on canned food. It'll run out in a generation or so. And there'll be animal husbandry, where they're fucking raising cattle again and fucking sheep. Meat is actually easier than vegetables because it's not seasonal and it feeds itself, and then you just eat them. So you have sheep and chickens everywhere, Let them eat what grows naturally, and then you eat them. It's a lot easier lifestyle than planting. But planting can support large populations. But you got to have a lot of planting, and you better fucking keep an eye on that damn calendar, and you're going to need fertilizers, so. So that's what I was getting at. In a fucking true apocalypse, what would matter the most is people, because you're going to be bored. And you're gonna, there's not gonna be any fucking TV and shit. Just the shit DVD. You're gonna have that.
Hey, I could read. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I've got
There'd be more books than you could read.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd never run out.
Right.
Aren't I always complaining? It's like, shit, I haven't even put up a book review this week because I haven't even read the one that I was supposed to read.
Yeah.
Which I feel bad about. Like, so there's millions of books. I would never get bored. There's like so much stuff.
If it went back to that, though, you'd probably have a lot of stuff that you'd have to be doing every day. That your daily chores would be off the fucking charts.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of it would be collecting eggs, fucking putting animals out. Just like you seen me do it when I was fucking running the farm. You got to fucking do that.
Well, yeah, it is a lot of work.
Right, and then if you're fucking growing on top of that, then there's a bunch of shit you got to do.
I think for a while I would just chill and eat canned food.
Yeah. Try to hire other people to grow stuff.
Right.
I can handling animals is far simpler. I'm good at that. I don't like fucking planting. We're doing some out back here. It's tough. It's harder.
It is. It's like some of the stuff grows really easy, but like some of it, like I said, we got eggplants out the ass. Like we just can't even eat all the eggplants.
I lost a lot of crops on that freeze a couple of fucking days back.
Yeah, it happens in Florida. It happens in Florida too.
There went the tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it happened.
I got everything it takes to. It'll bring back anyway. It was at the end of the season. We're gonna reset it.
It'll be all right.
It'll be all right. I should have brought all that shit in. Instead of having fixed stuff, it's better to have everything in bags, and you can just bring the bags in.
And then you just bring the bags inside.
Yeah, and there was enough room in this house. I could have brought the entire little crop in. for a couple of days.
Yeah, just left it at warm.
Just left it down in the warm and then taking it right back out, and it would have continued.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, normally in Florida, you don't usually have to worry about it because it usually only freezes like maybe 1 or 2 nights a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we had a bad one like right around Christmas.
If y'all are learning to grow, use grow bags. That big around, a lot cheap. Just leave them sitting outside, and you can arrange them and make a little pretty display. You know, fucking lay down that black tarp so grass doesn't grow in between them all. And put bricks around them. And if you have to bring them in, you can bring them in. Just I got a little cart you can put it on. I brought some of them in, but I couldn't bring them all in. Because when we moved here, we hired somebody to make me a planner. That's not the way to go. Wasted money on that. Should have just been for nothing but bags. Bags in a pretty setting. Because the bags can be moved.
Yeah, easier. They're more mobile.
Yeah.
Tom Sykes says, wouldn't the nuclear power plants go haywire without humans running it and end up like Chernobyl?
I said that.
Yeah, Victor said Life After People, that's a great show, by the way, shows what would happen to nuclear plants. They would melt down without human intervention. Yeah, we were wondering about, because like on the day after it happens, when Reggie goes back to the house to see if Sam is okay, the power's still on. And when they're at the mall, like the power's still on and stuff. And we're wondering like how long would the power stay? Like, hypothetically, in 1984, how long would the power stay on without anybody around to maintain?
I was thinking that a coal plant would probably run a couple days.
Yeah.
I was thinking that a nuclear plant, because you're going to have to keep putting coal in it.
Right.
So I would think a coal plant would probably only a couple days. And I was thinking a nuclear plant a few weeks before something would have to change. A button or something would need a human decision. In every couple of weeks, probably. And if that decision isn't made, it probably shuts itself down. A modern plant probably would. Be some kind of an emergency default system, and it'd probably fucking down, pull the fuel rods out. There's going to be something in there. I don't think a nuclear power plant could just run unsupervised for very long.
Yeah, probably not. So that's kind of what we were thinking about. I'm like, yeah, we're probably thinking too much about this movie. But I mean, that's why people like post-apocalyptic movies, because you can kind of like put yourself in that scenario and say like, ooh, what would happen? Because people are fascinated by that kind of stuff. Because I was like watching that kind of shit too, and I was just kind of like you were saying, because there were so few people left around, that, you know, and then there was like the odd zombie every now and then, which was, you know, kind of a pain, but nothing you couldn't deal with. Like I said, it wasn't like Walking Dead where you had fucking hordes of the shit that just like overwhelmed you. So it would really be easy to deal with, like, especially if we're in the middle of a big city and there was just like, you know, canned food everywhere and there was just shit everywhere. You could just go and take whatever you wanted.
In an apocalyptic situation, it might be a good idea to have a damn Geiger counter. And you'd also want to know your local infrastructure, whether or not your local power plant is nuclear or coal. You want to know a bunch of stuff. Is that shit upwind from you, or is it downwind from you? That kind of stuff. That way, if a power plant was going bad, you'd want a Geiger counter to know whether or not you're being irradiated. That way, if it's clicking off some rads that are too high, you might want to move. You're going to want to move.
Yeah.
You're going to want to get the fuck out of there. Although, you know, there's no telling, it could be that shit might be in the atmosphere and other ones far away is hitting you. You want to know how much rads you can take over.
Yeah, it would probably be good to invest in that. I mean, like I said, you could just go steal one from a store. No one's going to stop you.
I don't know if stores have Geiger counters.
Well, no, I'm just saying, you just like go fucking get it from somewhere. Right. I'm sure you can get one somewhere. But what I was going to say, what was I going to say? We were wondering about, because I was like, that looks like they really did shoot it in L.A. They did.
They did, okay.
And like I said, it only cost $700,000 to make. I'm assuming that they shot it like Sunday mornings, like early with nobody, because man, there is nobody. There's no cars. There's no nothing. I think every now and then, I didn't notice this, but when I was watching like some other reviews of it, like I think Minty Comedic Arts did one, and he kind of like showed, they're like, oh, in a couple shots you can see like a random person like over on the sidewalk, or like a window washer like up on one of the buildings or something like that. But I didn't really notice that while I was watching it, because I'm sitting there going, how the fuck did they do this? Like, because I'm like, I'm sure this was a low budget movie, and I said it looks like LA, but I was like, could they really have shot it in downtown LA with like nobody around? They did.
Yeah.
And that's like fucking crazy to me because it looked like, because you were thinking maybe they shot it in Detroit.
Yeah, I thought I saw the Ren Center.
No, it was LA.
Okay.
Because I looked up on IMDb and they showed like all the places where they shot it. Because I'm assuming if you only have $700,000 to make a movie, then you're going to have to just like film in locations you don't really have a lot of money to like build your own sets or locations or nothing like that.
All my Hispanic guys are in there talking about Chakotay from fucking Star Trek Voyager. He was in there. Fucking some guy says, I didn't know he was Chicano. Yeah, Chakotay wasn't. Well, you know, on Star Trek Voyager, he was playing something from the Maquis, I think is what he was, and he had his own damn background. He was kind of like a Native American type from another planet, and there was some kind of civil war or fucking secret police that he was in.
Well, he wouldn't be a Native American if he was from another planet.
Yeah, well, they ended up just kind of having that kind of style.
They don't have America on other planets. Not well that I know of.
It was a civilization. No, what are you talking about? You don't know Star Trek. Fucking Kirk goes to another planet.
I'm just fucking with
and knocks up a Native American girl. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
And they called him, what's his name? Kurok.
Kirok, yeah.
Kurok, yeah. It's kind of like Turok. The fucking Turok was from another dimension, and he's a Native American. That's another video. We don't know what we're talking about.
There's Native Americans all throughout the whole entire universe.
On other fucking planets. They're fucking everywhere, man. They got that good style, you know. But no, he was Chicano. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
And in this one, he does a special operation where he dresses up as a cowboy. Fucking puts
and plays some like just really tragic, horrible like country music on the
and
fucking radio.
Fucking, the car. And he goes straight redneck with him. But a lot of people don't understand that fucking Mexicans are rednecks. They got the cowboy boots and the fucking hats and shit. You know what I mean? They got cowboy culture too, man. Vaqueros, you know, same thing.
I thought that he did that like to disarm the guard because it's like nobody would be threatened by somebody like that. They would just think that he was just like some hayseed or whatever.
Look, man, here in the United States,
they didn't explain it, but I thought that's what they were going for.
Here in the United States, a fucking cowboy, he's gonna wear them cowboy boots, right? And the size of his dick's be measured by how much of that fucking belt hangs down on the side, right? In Mexico, the size of a cowboy's dick has to do with how long the toes on his cowboy boots are on. They sent me that from Mexico. All right, fucking. Some of them cowboy boot toes are 6 feet long. They come out and they fucking curl up. Remember when I showed you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Showing off the size of his phallus. Size of his manhood, judged by how fucking long the toes of that fucking cowboy boot. Yeah.
You just have him coming up and like
going
over his head.
Like he's walking.
And like it comes around like all like that.
Yeah.
Like a Hot Wheels racetrack, just like all the way around.
Con of Aslan fucking sent me that photograph to prove Mexican superiority. Their rednecks beat our rednecks, man. Fucking bigger.
I believe it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sorry, I was laughing at because Victor said I knew Chakotay was Latino because in one episode of Voyager he has all his pots and pans in the oven.
Yeah, they put this in the oven. I do that too, though. I put
and you're white as fuck.
My cast iron stuff I put in the oven.
Well, I mean, where else are you gonna put it?
Well, you need it fast.
That's what I'm saying. It's a good place to put it.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to remember the shit's in there, like if you're gonna use it,
right?
But, you know what I mean? Because I think we've had a problem where I think we've turned on the oven like to cook something and forgot that something's in there, and we're like, oh shit, I forgot that was in there.
Yeah, I don't know how Mexicans and Chicanos are with cast iron. But fucking being from Mississippi, I grew up with cast iron culinary culture. If fucking there's cast iron shit at my dad's house, I'm gonna inherit that shit. They don't even make it anymore.
That shit lasts forever if you take care of it.
He had a saucepan that's only 4 inches in diameter and flat, a little thing like just a little bit made out of cast iron. I challenge you to find something like that.
I think they do make those little bitty ones. I think they make those little bitty ones. Yeah,
little pots with lids, cast iron lids on them. And that shit's worth a mint nowadays. I don't even think they make much cast iron like they used to. That and fucking copper.
Well, I feel like
copper pants.
a lot of people, since a lot of people have gone into like foodie culture and everything like that, I do think that people are way more into like cast iron pans.
I bet you cast irons like hundreds of dollars just for a fucking
pan. I don't know. A couple years back, I bought you for Christmas or your birthday or something like that a cast iron griddle.
Yeah, I got it. How much was that?
And that was $50.
That's it? Okay.
I think it was only $50.
It's got a flat side and the other side is a corrugated side.
Yeah.
So you could have fucking sear lines or just flat, like so you can do eggs.
It's nice.
Pancakes.
It's Lodge, I think. Yeah. Lodge is a good brand. They're not horribly expensive.
It's about that big and about that tall. You can put it on an electric stove, range top, and it'll cover 2 burners, and you can get it hot on there. You can get it hot enough to cook on. It's nice. It's real nice. And you got to cure it. You put fucking vegetable oil on it and bacon in the oven, like 250
on that
or something.
shit. You make all kind of shit on it.
The original non-stick, man.
Pancakes.
The original non-stick.
I haven't had pancakes in a long time.
Oh, you want pancakes now, huh?
No, I'm just saying I haven't had those in a long time.
All right.
I was watching a video a couple days ago that like somebody was making some, and I was like, God damn, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Tom Sykes said, I'm surprised Regina's character didn't realize that convertible driver was the DMK gamer tag. Yeah, it's like that. I had forgotten about that little, because I've seen this movie before, but it had been like several years, and it's like that made me laugh out loud, like when that guy at the end like drove away and said DMK.
Oh, and Garcia and El Padrillo are in there going, oh no, we got cast iron in the oven. Yeah, we got. We're all Mexican together, man. We're all Mexican.
Well, like I said, it seems like the best place to put it.
It's the best place to put it, man.
Because you use it all the time. I mean,
so
we use a lot of. We make pizza and that shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can make a deep dish pizza in there. We've made quiche in there before.
Yep.
Chicken
cast iron pan pizza.
Pot pie. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we made all kinds of stuff.
Now you're fucking with me, because you know that big cast iron griddle that you gave me. I could put bread dough on there and make a big old long
like a flatbread
pizza on that.
Yeah, you could.
And put that in there.
Yeah, you could.
That'd probably be really good, because I've been doing that in that little electric oven with that non-stick metal.
Although that works good too.
That works too. But what if I want something 3 times that size?
Well, then there you go.
There it is.
That's how you do.
There it is. We're gonna try that. Try that.
Oh. Yeah, try it out.
Okay, we're gonna use that.
Tom Sykes said, "Is this film worth owning?"
Yes.
If you like 80s movies and you like post-apocalyptic movies, this is one of the better.
Yeah, I'd
because it definitely has like a good angle to it, and I really really like all the characters. I really I like the angle that they approached it from. You know what I mean? Because it's not like your regular. Like I said, it's not like a Mad Max like action type of thing. You don't usually see a post-apocalyptic movie with these type of characters. And I think it really works, you know what I mean? Because they don't, like, go overboard with it. It's not, like, zany or anything like that. But it's just, like, very matter-of-fact. And I think, that's what I really liked about it, actually. Was that it was just kind of, like, you know. They weren't, like, over-the-top Valley Girls, but they were kind of like that, I guess.
They were kind of poking fun at the contemporary culture, the culture of the time. But they weren't making the girls out to be, you know, clowns, you know, per se. No,
I mean, they were both like very intelligent, like resourceful, characters
trying to survive.
Yeah,
and the guy characters were good.
Yeah,
the guy characters were good. They were believable. And in the end, you find out who the dude was who kept beating what's her name on Tempest. He shows up. He's a yuppie. But he survived too.
I know. And she's always, she goes out to the convertible. She's like, nice car. He's like, I got 23 of them. You want to take a ride? Because, like I said, nobody's using them, so might as well. And then he drives away and it says DMK on that. Yeah, that was kind of one of the things, because Reggie's character, she was like a big, she obsessed with playing the video game Tempest at the movie theater where she worked. And she had all the high scores except for that one person that was like, I think if they were number 6 or something, they were DMK. She's like, who the fuck is this? It's like fucking up all my top 10. You know what I mean?
Everybody's talking about who's got it on Blu-ray. Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of people own this film. Yeah,
like I said, this is a big, you know, it did really well at the box office. Like I said, it only cost $700,000 to make, and it made $14.5 million back, so it was very good. And actually, it did so well that they were thinking about doing a sequel pretty much as soon as it came out. They're like, they want to do a sequel, you know what I mean? But it just never happened because, like, the rights of it, like, changed hands and they weren't really sure who. I think that somebody, like, as of 2019, they were talking about remaking it, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I haven't heard anything about it like more recently than 2019.
Okay, if you've seen this movie and you like it, there's two movies that you need to see if you haven't seen them. You want to see Cherry 2000 and you want to see Boy and His Dog. Boy and His Dog stars Don Johnson, young Don Johnson. Okay, you can only get that movie bootleg. I bought a Blu-ray, a fake Blu-ray copy on fucking eBay, and I have it. It's the best. It's pretty good quality copy. It's got a label and everything because the movie's out of print, and it's because Don Johnson is in a post-apocalyptic world. He is a serial rapist. All right, he rapes girls and kills them.
Pretty much, yeah.
But he's the hero. All right, and he's got a damn
it's
dog.
A little controversial.
He's got a dog he can talk to, and the dog is like a cybernetic fucking dog
it's a weird
human
movie.
intent. Yeah, and it's a leftover from before the world got destroyed, and the dog helps him track down girls.
Yeah.
All right, and he ends up getting chosen to be taken as breeding stock by a subterranean culture that's it's basically trying to live the 1950s forever. And it turns out that it's like something out of Fallout. The problem is that fucking they're gonna kill him afterwards. He's got to get the fuck out of there. It's a good fucking movie. All right, would never fly today. Okay. The other one I recommend, Cherry 2000. It's about a dude in a post-apocalyptic futuristic society. He's fucking sick of dating. He's like MGTOW, men going his own ways. So he buys a sex bot because certain parts of the country still have technology, but they don't make it anymore. And he's in love with this sex bot, and the sex bot breaks, and he has to go get a replacement part, but the replacement part is ended up in the apocalyptic zone, and he's got to hire somebody to go down there and get this part. So he hires Melanie Griffith. When she's young, she's fucking hot as shit in it. And she's this kind of like a post-apocalyptic kind of Furiosa girl from Mad Max. And he hires her to go to the warehouse out in the fucking Forbidden Zone and get this damn chip that he needs to fix his fucking sex bot. And that's where the adventure begins. She's got a fucking souped up fucking 68 Mustang and folding stock Mini 14 and red fucking hair, and she's kind of like a Wild West character. A bunch of weird. They run into all these weird tribal cults out in the desert, and it's a good flick. Cherry 2000. So those two movies, I'd say, are kind of spiritual equivalents to this movie. They're
I will say I like Cherry 2000 a lot. Fun fact: my brother used to have a punk band named Cherry 2000 after that movie. I like Night of the Comet better than Cherry 2000, though.
I like them both.
I like them both, but I think if I had to pick, I think I like Night of the Comet better. Boy and His Dog is good too, but that's a fucking weird one. El Padrino says, remember the movie Nightmares? Yeah. Oh yeah, with the video game segment with Emilio Estevez. Yeah, the Bishop of Battle. Honestly, I've been wanting to revisit that movie because I probably haven't seen that since the late 1980s, and it's an anthology. But for whatever reason, the Bishop of Battle segment is the only one I remember. Was it 3 stories? I want to say it was 3 stories. I don't remember. But that's the only one I remember. I don't remember anything about the other ones. But I'm sure that if I watched it again, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember this, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I kind of wanted, that's another anthology that I wanted to do, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about it. You know what I mean? Victor says, who needs a sex bot when you got a Pringle can and 2 sponges?
That's funny.
That's like ghetto fleshlight.
Yeah, that's ghetto fleshlight. Get the real thing.
That's pretty awesome.
Get the real thing. You won't regret it.
Oh my god. Wow, we're getting all TMI out of this fucking situation. Yeah. Hugo said there's a movie. I don't know what he's talking about though. But yeah, so this is if you like anything about 80s movies, if you like anything about post-apocalyptic movies, this is a really good one. Actually, as of right now, it's free to watch on Tubi. It's weird because it was on Shudder. I felt like Shudder added it like before Christmas, like a week or two before Christmas. But then when I went back to look for it last night, it was gone. So I guess they only had the rights of it a little while, but I'm pretty it's pretty much free. I mean, you can watch it on Tubi. You can watch it on Roku channel, I think. Maybe Crackle. I'm not sure, but like some of the other like free streaming services, you can watch it on there. But you know,
they're in there talking about the moral ambiguity of Boy and His Dog and how good that was. Everybody liked Boy and His Dog.
We reviewed that a long time ago.
Yeah, and
I think we reviewed Cherry 2000 also.
Yeah, y'all want to see Cherry 2000 if you like this movie.
That is also on Tubi.
I like them all.
And matter of fact, if you watch Night of the Comet, or at least when we watched it, Cherry 2000 comes up next, automatically.
I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I don't own that movie. I need to own that movie. But I think the last time I checked, they wanted a lot for it. You know what I mean? I'm going to spend $45 for that.
Well, movie. Like I said, you can just watch it for free on the thing, and then you can decide if you.
I like having hard copies, though.
I know you do. I mean, I do too, but usually it has to be a movie I'm really, really into. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna watch like over and over again. Like I don't have any compunctions at all about buying a really, really nice version of like The Shining, for example, because I never get tired of watching that fucking movie.
Victor says he watched Boy and His Dog because we reviewed it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we reviewed it a while back, I remember. That's like a really weird... Tom Sykes says, what's January's movie theme, winter-style horror films? We don't have a theme, really. It's just kind of like... What I'm doing is I started doing polls for what movie you guys want to watch us cover like on the live streams, like on Sunday and Tuesday. And usually what I'll do is I'll just go through all of our streaming services, because we have a bunch. We have, Amazon Prime, we have Shudder, we have Hulu, and then there's free ones like Tubi and all that kind of stuff. So I'll just go through there and I have HBO Max also. And so you just go through there and I just pick 5 movies that I think that maybe you guys would like and that maybe Tom would like to watch. Like, I'll watch anything. I don't really care. But it's like, Tom's kind of picky. So I have to curate. It's like, what is Tom gonna watch without complaining too much? You know what I mean?
That's funny.
So there. Victor says Take Shelter is on Hulu. Great movie. That was the one with Michael Shannon, right? Because we reviewed that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we saw that. That was a good movie. Tom Sykes says The Boogans and the film Devil Times 5, aka People Toys, are great winter horror films, free on YouTube. A couple people have asked us about doing The Boogans. Maybe I should do that one of these days. Didn't they make a sequel to that? I kind of want Boogans 2. Electric Boogaloo. I guess. I don't know. All right, so I guess we've been going almost an hour, so
all right,
we should probably wrap it up. Yeah, I'm pretty hungry.
Okay.
All right, so tomorrow is Wednesday, and that means it's our big main show. And it should be fun because I'm calling it Paranormal Palooza. Okay. We're talking about, in the poll, like everybody voted for doing the Smurl haunting, which I think we kind of talked about a little bit on one of our shows about the Warrens, because we did a couple shows about them. But I wanted to kind of do like a revisit on that. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's long enough for a whole show. So we might also talk about the San Pedro haunting, Jackie Hernandez, and also maybe the South Shields poltergeist. So we're going to get into like some haunting cases. So that should be fun, I feel like. It won't be as soul crushing.
It's going to be a good show.
As some of
Tomorrow's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah. We'll have some drinks and we'll talk about ghosts. And
I love paranormal and UFO shows. You guys know how I get.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm more into the true crime ones, even though they're depressing.
Yeah, they're depressing. A lot of people like them, but to me, they're like depressing. I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? Fucking, I like more like paranormal and UFO kind of shit. You know? They're more upbeat to me, a little more mysterious.
It is, like a little bit more fun. I will admit that. I mean, because the thing is, today I've been doing, because for my Crime Immemorial channel, I'm working on a big, like, long video about the Highway of Tears cases, like the series, which is almost like, I'm not covering all of them, but like it's almost like 80 fucking murders, like all in the same area. And so I've been writing about horrible murders all day long today.
Garcia says he's off tomorrow, so he's gonna set his alarm. That's right. Y'all need to be here on time. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Get your drinks ready. We're gonna entertain.
Get
tomorrow.
The cocktails prepared. We're gonna talk about some fucking ghosts.
We're gonna talk about ghosts tomorrow.
El Padrino says, Jenny, one last question. Which one of your books on true crime do you recommend to start with first? Faceless Villain is a trilogy, and they're chronological. So if you start with the first one, The Faceless Villain, that covers unsolved murders. Not every unsolved murder, obviously, but like kind of big ones. Unsolved murders from 1900 to 1959. And then there's a volume 2 that's like 1960 to 1979, and then there's a volume 3 which is 1980 to 1999 or 2000 or something. So yeah, so
reviews have been good.
So I suggest like starting with the first one, but you know they're all good.
Yeah, they're all good.
And you don't necessarily have to read them in chronological. It's just that they're in chronological order. Like all the murders are in chronological order.
I also like Unseen Hand.
Yeah. If you're into paranormal,
if you're into paranormal stuff, Unseen Hand. It's all about poltergeist cases that she dug up that go way back. All right, and parapsychologist Steve Merritt that we've worked with before says he thinks that's the most complete collection of poltergeist cases that he's ever seen.
Well, I mean, I tried to.
Yeah, it's a big book.
To put all of them that I could find in there. That I mean had enough details that were worth writing about. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want just some thing. It's like, oh, somebody threw a teacup.
It's like an encyclopedia of them. Damn near like an encyclopedia.
Yeah. Victor says, I have Unseen Hand on Audible. So he has the one that I read.
Yeah. You enjoyed it?
I hope so.
I guess you probably enjoyed it.
All right. So we are going to wrap it up. So hopefully you guys can drop by tomorrow and see us. We're going to talk about some ghost poltergeist shows and stuff like that. So thanks everybody for dropping by, listening to us talk about Night of the Comet, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.
He said he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, good.